hello, and welcome back to another YouTube video. It's me, it's your boy Rare. I'm back again. We're live, and we're also making this. I guess I want to say a relatively short video. Obviously, you can tell by the title. We're gonna be talking about Titanoboa. I'm gonna be having a little bit of idle footage in the background because Baryonyx kind of just got leaked. Essentially, and I play on a server that has it, so we just have that in the background. But today we're going to be talking about Titanoboa, not Baryonyx, which I might make a video on Baryonyx maybe after this one. And we're going to be talking about the concept of Titanoboa, some actual stats, but mostly the gameplay and why I think it should be in any of the animal game genre, if I had to put it like that. So the very first thing about Titanoboa is, it's a colossal snake, right? It's huge. That's the biggest factor of Titanoboa, right? It's huge. It's it's a constrictor. It's basically a large. It's basically a large anaconda, right? At this point, from what we understand. Sorry for the background noise. Baryonyx in the background, he's cute. And so this animal was obviously like it lived in where anacondas basically live currently, which is in South America. It goes up to like 13 meters long, and it's for meters. It's like my dad has like a literal boat the size of it. It's like a 42.5 foot snake, right? Essentially, it weighs over. Well, this is like all estimates, but we're pretty good at speculation for snakes, I think. Especially because like we know it's probably gonna be like semi-aquatic as well, and it weighs about like 1,100, maybe 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, let's say. And in pounds, that's about 2,500 pounds. It's currently the largest snake that we've found. Like, it's the largest snake that has ever like been on the planet that is currently not currently alive, but like that has lived, I guess. So not the like current largest living snake, but obviously you probably know all this stuff already about Titanoboa. Now, the first thing I want to cover and talk about is the fact that like Titanoboa is like, why should it be in the game, essentially? Like, why do we want an animal that's like, it's gonna come in and it's gonna like what is it adding to the game? Well, firstly, snakes are hard to make in gaming, right? Like, snakes as a whole, they're really one-dimensional. They're kind of just flat, and then when they turn with their whole like let's say my arm is the whole snake and this is the ground. They kind of like turn in most games with their whole body, which is like, that's not how snakes move. They bend and they weave and they slither and they something like rattlesnakes. They kind of use their whole body to like crawl themselves on the floor. And there is no I say there's no snakes in any game, but there is it Untamed Kingdom that has a rattlesnake, and then there's obviously the most popular one, which I think is Beast of Bermuda, which I think is a good snake. Like, it's well animated and stuff. Now, this video we're gonna be talking mostly about like why I think, or like how we can add it in, or why I think people would like it. Obviously I just want it for me, like I don't care about you guys, but I'm pretty sure that if there's people like me who want this animal in the game, like, this is like one of the coolest concepts of any animal that I can think of, like, ever. Like this for me is hands down like probably the thing I would look forward to, like all the hype for Rex, all the hype for Spino, hype for Baryonyx that I'm playing currently. I have something about being a snake is so ambush. And the thing is, when I say Titanoboa needs to be the snake, it's because it's big. It can it's not gonna consume Rexes. Like, it's obviously not bigger than a Rex, right? It's not gonna coil a Rex, but maybe a small Rex, maybe a juvie, I think those would be kind of cool to like constrict. Now, let's talk about like why it should be in the game, or why essentially why it is an animal that we could have, and and I think would be a fun aspect, right? So the first reason is there's not many of it. There's not many snakes. There's not many snake games. There's, the snake phone game, which is really fun to play. Like, who didn't like sitting there like Nokia back in the day? Like the the indestructible one. That was like the one game you had on that phone. I think that and maybe like Tetris or something. I don't even think Tetris actually. And like the idea of just becoming this huge like monster of an animal. Now I'm going to pitch in some ideas about like how it should play and growth and stuff, but let's talk about like games that have it done. So in Bob, the snake that we have is semi-aquatic. It's called Paleothus, if I'm correct. I'm probably mispronouncing it. It's the reason why I like literally play Bob. I played Bob for the infinite growth, and I think the infinite growth is fine. Like, I actually like it. We're not going to get into Bob specifically, because I want this in any game, but I wouldn't mind it in Path of Titans, and I wouldn't mind it in the Isle. Especially the Isle, because I think from looking at Dinosuchus gameplay and how it feels, and I'm not even a Dinosuchus main, but looking at how they play and how they feel, I feel like a snake would just be like, it would just be so cool to have it in the game. It would just be like an amazing, like I'm just thinking about how cool this animal would be, seeing a huge snake and being like, shit, dude, that fucker, like I saw him, he's just slithering there. Like, it's hard to see him, and he's huge, he's not hard if he's in the water, because you could see him if you're in the water, but like if the water's clear, like he's obvious, right? But if he's like sitting in some grass or something, I think it would be so cool. Now, the other games, they have venomous snakes, right? Now, if they added a Paleothus that's a constrictor, which don't get me wrong, like making a constrictor is going to be like the hardest thing you can ever make, I think. Like, because like there's no grapple system and it's all desyncy and stuff. It needs to be a fast, hard, smooth animation, there needs to be some counterplay, obviously, but for the most part, if you get into a constrictor's grip, you're kind of cooked. And the funny part is, like, most constrictors, like if we play them in like if you take a Titanoboa max size and weight, you might be able to like maybe crush a T-Rex or something, but I don't think you'd be able to like actually consume it because of the size. And that's like another problem. Like, how do you add that into like the swallowing animation, the eating animation? It'd be very glitchy. I would be okay if they just like have you just nibble on it, but like having an animal swallow that animal would be super hard to do. They need to make every single animal have like their body getting wrapped up animation, like their body being straight and getting crushed. Then they need to have their body being covered with a snake. And there is ways to make it look good, like maybe they just make the snake just stretch over no matter how big it is, and just freaking whatever. But I'm not saying that, like, for example, if you add this animal to nice, great boar. If you add this animal to let's say if you have it in the Isle, okay? Let's say you have it in the Isle, and you get this like oh Jesus Christ, I scared myself. And then you get this like scenario, let's say, where you're not supposed to really kill all the other, like, you're not going to be like an apex killer, right? You're not going to be out here slaying Dinosuchuses, and you're supposed to be a mid-game hunter. Like it's not even like, what was it, like, it's not even the size of an adult Carnotaurus, right? Like, it's not going to be huge. But there is a caveat, I feel like, with this animal, and we'll get into the gameplay part of it, but... Oh, is there something next to me? I think it's just a boar. I shouldn't have recorded this while it's actually in-game. But, yeah, so... I just want to grow, I just want to, lurk around. But yeah, just Allosaurus, freaking, technically it's an Allosaurus, it's just Baryonyx. It has all the new calls and stuff, but it's basically just Allosaurus. But yeah, so with Titanoboa, I do feel like one thing, I'm just gonna crouch again. One thing that they should make it be is a juvie killer. Now the other games, like with Paleothus and stuff, they're venomous, so you kind of can have like that, like, that threatening, like, venom, like, you get bit by a snake, you're technically cooked, right? Like, an elephant getting bit by a snake is dead, no matter how big the elephant is. For the most part, you're cooked, because of how venom works, going into your bloodstream and whatever, right? You eventually, I think you end up getting, like, cardiac arrest for the most part, so, Like your organs are shutting down essentially, so you're just dying, and that's not fun gameplay. So they've made it like dot based, right? Like it's obvious it's just going to be a dot instead of like a one hit one kill. That'd just be unfun, right? But those are venomous snakes. Now with a Titanoboa, this is how I would picture it, right? You put it into Path of Titans, you put it into Isle. I'm going to use Isle as the major example because that's the one I play the most. I don't dislike any of the other games. I just have a preference. My kid plays Path of Titans more than me, and she plays more Path of Titans than I play the Isle. So she's in love with Path of Titans. But I'm more of an Isle player, and I play Bob, I guess, the least. But when I do play Bob, I'm always on the Paleophis, right? So, but the sad part for me is like I don't get kills on Path. On Bob with the Paleophis because I want to slither around. I just want to be an ambush predator, and I think. Just imagine the vision, right? So you're logging on your snake. You're growing. You're a little squirmy little worm, right? Then you start getting bigger. You get some kills. You scavenge. You kill you get a fish or something maybe, or you find a carcass and I guess you can just swallow it whole and finish it. You get all your diets. If all the organs, if you eat a whole corpse, you just get all the organs, for example, in the diet system in the Isle. And then what you would do essentially is you would just grow. And you'd hit a certain like your hunger is gonna diminish slowly, but you can always like throw up food to like consume more food if you need to like get a diet or something. But I don't think the game plan should be like focused like how other carnivores are. It should be more of a like I'm going into sanctuaries, I'm killing a juvenile like you do, and you're not supposed to be like a super apex predator, like you're not supposed to go into a fight versus like 10 baby omniraptors and then kill them all off, like you can hurt them, maybe you can damage them, but the whole point of the gameplay is kind of like Dinosuchus, where you just want to get that one victim, wrap them around, crush them, swallow them whole. You kind of want to like, and then you're supposed to be like debuffed, you're supposed to be extra slow. I know you're thinking like, well, that doesn't sound fun, that's not real fun gameplay. Like the gameplay is getting that perfect kill, and you need to sneak around. You can't be spotted by apexes, really. Like, you can't be spotted by a Dinosuchus. There needs to be a way for you to kind of get away. But the biggest thing for me, at least in my opinion, is the Titanoboa needs, and I'm gonna be honest here, the biggest thing with Titanoboa is it just needs to be able to like stealth around. Like I think stealth is the ultimate weapon on a snake, right? You're in a bush. You're in some foliage. You went in a swamp. You don't make noise when you move. You're not even supposed to be heard. You're just like if you maybe sprint at someone's right next to you, maybe you can hear the foliage kind of move. But for the most part, snakes are really quiet, right? You can obviously one call and stuff and give yourself away, but for the most part, you should be just like you're not supposed to be able to like see any of this, right? I'm just gonna pull up a little picture I have here of Titanoboa, so maybe thumbnail, but we'll just have this up here just for talking points, I guess, because it just looks so cool. But yeah, so the whole game plan, I would say, is give us this animal that just like eating a chicken, eating a rabbit, like those are like key things and key parts. Like it's really important that you get your first few like kills to help you like kind of grow yourself into like a bigger threatening presence. Now I want this to be a baby killer. You could maybe have it go into trees at some point of its life cycle, maybe like from like pre-60, like let's say from 30 to the 60 range of growth. And maybe you could crawl up some trees. I do like that like Paleophis can be arboreal, so it like wraps itself around trees. I would really like that. I don't think Titanoboa should be that snake, but I think it would be better if there's just one snake, then just let it do all the snake stuff except for maybe venom, and then add another snake that's venomous, but yeah, what I would do is I really would give it this what's the word I'm looking for? I really would give it this ambush play style. I'm gonna keep picturing this image to you, right? So you're playing a Titanoboa, you're slithering around, and then you get to points where your animal is like, you're big enough, you're fully grown, or maybe you're like at 80% or whatever, you hit all your prime stuff, give it like the treatment that other animals get in the aisle, like the smaller animals, where it's, you know, it's not a big animal and it's gonna have a hard time going across the map. But water is like your movement is gonna be crazy good, like Dinosuchus, almost Dinosuchus levels of good, right? You want to be around water, but the problem is Dinosuchus will hunt you and will kill you, but you can kill, like the fight should be, if you know you're bigger, and if you get onto them, they don't get away. Now, when you make that choice to wrap around a croc, you better hope that there's not another Dinosuchus, because the wrapping process is a slow kill. It's almost like a drown, you know? It's going to be even slower than that. It's going to be a long, slow process, you know? So if your friend, like the thing your hunt is in and comes, it's really like a solo player, kind of like you have to take out a solo player. You can't be taking out a pack. You get a raptor, you know, one raptor is by itself, you know, or whatever. He's like barking all the time. He's one calling all over the map. You hear him and then you just get onto him. I think that's the kind of game plan that you really want, you know? Like you really want, or if like a raptor is like with a pack and he's like the last raptor, he's just finishing off his meal and all the ones ran away. Like obviously comms, in game you wouldn't be able to make a call because you're getting crushed, right? You're not making you might make a yelp, but you're not making any like big calls. And the problem is, like, if a bunch of raptors get on you, you're cooked, you know? Maybe they can't pin you, but they need like 4 of them or something, you know, or whatever. And the pin is never going to be like a proper pin, because like, yeah, you can pin a snake down, but the whole point of the center of mass of a snake is like you're going to be able to like drag them and move through. You're going to be bleeding. You're going to be dealing a lot of like, like I don't even think the stats should be that crazy. Like you should be defensive, but the biggest part for the snake, I feel like, is killing small tiers like juveniles, catching that one raptor, catching that, you know, that stegosaurus that's been growing by itself, or that trike that's been growing by itself. They come next to the water. They're already scared of like going in the water, so they go to like the cringy like little outskirts areas. But that's where you sit. You're not in the water with the crocodiles. You're like near the shitty water sources. You're hoping that you don't get spotted. Obviously, if you go with like a bright pink, neon pink Titanoboa, you're going to be cooked, because you're going to be spotted from like, hey, that's a freaking pink noodle over there, what the hell, you know? Like obviously you're going to go with the most like earthy colors and dark greens and browns that you can, right? And I'm all for like customization and letting people choose whatever color they want. So if they want a little bit of a hard time, you know, give yourself a little pink flair, or, you know, I love purple, for example. It's my favorite color, so, you know. But yeah, so and eventually at some points you'll get to a point where you're basically, I want to say you're fully grown, right? Because no other, like in Bob, there's an infinite growth system, but in Path and in in the Isle, there isn't, right? There's no infinite growth. But I do think a snake is warranted infinite growth, and I'll explain why. And I'll explain how it can work, where it's not too overpowered. Like, your stats should multiply very slowly. Or not multiply, you should just gain stats, I should say. Very slowly. Like, let's say you're 100%, you know, then you're 2.0, right? Like, let's say when you hit to that stage. That shouldn't be something that's normal. That should be like twice your growth time, and then like 2.5 should be twice your growth time, you know, so it's like a natural times 2 is good, and you're only getting like maybe 1,000 kilograms, 100 to maybe like 200 kilograms more. But the fact that you can wait, be patient, not need to eat a lot, just be in malicious places, you might get caught out and you have to start your growth again. But just infinite growth. Now, I'm really hoping this video reaches out to any like it could be like a mod team or like an Isle dev or anyone like that. Just have it so it's like just think of the possibilities that we can have, you know? Think of how creative like this animal can be. You know, like, is it one-dimensional? Yeah, you're just ambushing stuff, and you know, you just take out some juveniles and you ruin someone's day. But like, younger animals usually are like very, you know, younger I say younger animals, but younger players are very like reckless. I would say they're either camping in bushes, or they're very, very reckless. And I think that's like great, because you could be in a bush and they might just walk into the wrong bush. They'll go and drink at a safe spot. They'll go and look for food. Now, you can't eat. Maybe you can't like eat the biggest meals, which is going to be hard because if something like a T-Rex dies or T-Rex kills a track and then leaves like a piece of meat left back, like left behind to go continue hunting, I think that that might be something, right? Like that might be, I guess, like how to word this. That might be something that's like yeah, okay, you would have a hard time doing it. Like you'd have a hard time like kind of like how would you make it, like how would you survive this scenario where you can clearly eat this thing but you can't actually eat it because it doesn't fit in your mouth. Like maybe there needs to be like, okay, you can just eat it, I guess. Like real snakes don't just snap off a leg and start eating a leg, like swallowing it whole if they can't fit the whole thing in its mouth or whatever. Like maybe you can eat like flesh pieces or scraps. Tearing off a piece of flesh might be viable. Snakes are very like like they're very like weird like eaters. They eat a lot of things, but they're more like instinctual. Like they feel the heat and they feel like the thing they're gonna hunt nearby, and then they go for the lunge, but yeah, so who knows? I don't know. It's really weird. It's a really weird like concept to have put into the game, I do think it's definitely doable, I do think it's definitely doable. Oh, what the hell? Oh, it's AI. It's a dryo. I'm gonna take it out. So yeah, it's definitely doable. Like killing a small dryo or something. Like that should be your like main food source. Like this, obviously, people, dryos are like basically minus the AI, but this is with AI in mind, I guess. But dryo should be like something that should be like just constantly like the player base isn't played, but as an AI food source, I think it's fine. Chickens at the start, chickens, rabbits. You catch yourself a random pteranodon sitting and fishing. I think those are excuse me. I think those are all fine. But yeah, and you should be able to go to the coast. You should get your saltwater mutation like everyone else. But the biggest thing is like having that slow like starts. That slow. And oh my god, baryonyx, dude. Like its sounds are great, dude. Holy shit, I love it. It's really good. But yeah, so and you can give yourself, some wiggle room by like not needing to eat constantly. Like snakes eat like every 2 weeks or so or something. Like that's a long, like 2 weeks in game. Like thinking about the day and night cycles, that's a lot of hours you're really growing, with one meal. Obviously real life animals obviously go way slower than in game. I think some animals do grow fast. Like T-Rex probably does grow a little bit faster than most animals, but there's so many like opportunities that the developers can actually make with an animal like this. Like they really can't just go all out and be like, hey, look, it's gonna eat a T-Rex, it's gonna grow. Like if you play long or hard enough, you're gonna be able to like you're just gonna be able to like just grow and become this like massive like thing that maybe eventually you can kill a Rex, maybe eventually you can kill something, maybe not Rex size, but maybe like an Allosaurus or something, when you start hitting like, I don't know, you've spent a week playing on that one animal straight, you've been growing, like you hit adult and then you started growing for a week straight, like obviously not like up 24/7 weeks straight, but you know what I mean. And and then you get to this point and it's like, some like no like critter or whatever will be able to react to you because you're just so stealthy, like they're not going to be running from you, they're just going to get clapped, and I think I guess I'm just that bad. But yeah, I think you're going to be able to just walk up to something really slowly. They might see you for half a second, and then like that's the feeling. You're just getting jumped. You're just walking around, playing my baryonyx, and all of a sudden I walk into the wrong bush and I'm dead. And that might not be like fun gameplay, or that might not be like interactive whatever gameplay. But there's an element of surprise. There's an element of, oh, dude, I just got killed by this Titanoboa. He was huge, dude. He didn't, like, I was clearly not a good meal for him, but he was clearly hungry enough to kill me. And he's an opportunist because that's what the animal's supposed to be like. And then you're just thinking like, wow, like, I actually have this animal that's like in the game, like super threat level. If you're the wrong size, I just entombed my baryonyx. I'm only 50% growth. Boom, I get clapped, Titanoboa just got a perfect meal. Doesn't have to eat, just chill in some bush, move around the map. Obviously needs to drink. Don't give it bad water as well. Like, let it be on land, whatever. Like don't just let the gameplay be very slow, chill, and if you can start constricting someone, you should be able to just let them go. You should be able to and maybe have it be like a mini game. Like the mini game of the constriction should be like, it should be in the constrictor's favor, but there should be like some struggle, right? Like obviously you can like make it like, so it's like a Dead by Daylight skill check where it's like you get a skill check and you have to keep hitting them, and the Titanoboa player has to like, it could be something like the Titanoboa player is able to make the skill checks not be at the same spot, but maybe make them like, maybe you have to skill check 2 at the same time, or maybe he puts one there, and if you get both, you're really good. But like it should be more in the Titanoboa's favor. Like, and obviously if you train enough, you should be able to like struggle your way out of a Titanoboa. But then the retaliation happens where if you get out, like, do you just get to stand up and start killing the Titanoboa? Like, because you're getting crushed, like you are getting damaged, And if he gets you again, you're already weak. Maybe with the stat changes, maybe you would be able to like wrap an animal that has less stamina, because it's going to be draining your stamina. If you have no stamina at all, or if you get like caught in the water, you're just cooked. Obviously not if you're like a dino sucus or a spino or barrier or whatever suko. But yeah, I do think this animal would be amazing. Just sitting and waiting for prey would be amazing, and I like this feeling because I play land dino when I do play dino sucus. I'm not like always on the land, but I do play it where I'm potentially like, I'm trying to sit and I'm trying to like hunt, and I'm trying to like, oh, I know people go to this spot, like in what's the map, like in like the old Spiro map, where people would go to like south, right? And it was just like, there was like a waterfall, and right before the waterfall there's like this, like they reworked it, and there was like this shore where people used to drink and stuff, and it was like, it's like a known dino sucus place, so people would always like be wary of there, but they would walk around, and I'd just catch someone on like slipping, like they'd just be walking around, boom, land, on, like sitting in a bush, and I'm close enough to water so I can drink and I can keep going back, and all my dino buddies, I'll share the food with them when I pull it in the water, and I would take mutations to like stay on land longer. No, I'm not saying that dino sucus or Titanoboa should be like super good at water, super good. It's obviously, if you see a Titanoboa slithering, like I'm here right now and I see one just slithering past me and I'm like a barrier and I can pin it, and it's like a clear like one-sided match, that's free food for me, right? Like, it's not gonna be, but I feel like the opposite should also be the case, where like if he's a bit bigger and he's able to pin my barrier, he's able to crush my barrier or my Rex or whatever, because I'm like 20% Rex or whatever, right? And it's just like, oh, it's clearly is like, he's like clearly diffing me. There's no counterplay. There's nothing. You're just cooked, I think that the counterplay mechanic could be the argument on why, like, obviously venomous snakes are easier to add, but I can see that as an argument, and I would obviously like to hear what you guys think in the comment section. Like, if you think, like, how would you add it, how would you implement it into the game? For example, you can make it arboreal, you can make it go hunt Herreras and Pteranodons, for example, Hypsilon, you can make it hunt those animals, and if it's in Path of Titans, well, Path of Titans is just a very, I don't want to say silly game, but it's more, MMO-y. It's more, like, here's your ability bars, gather this. I think it would be cool, but my biggest takeaway on the snake, I would personally say, is that there needs to be good physics. That's the biggest thing I'm asking for. Like whatever the gameplay is, whatever it can kill, whatever the stats are, whatever the numbers are, if it has infinite growth, if it doesn't have infinite growth, make sure it looks and feels good. It needs to look like, especially for the Isle, Dinosuke again was an amazing job, but it needs to look and feel good. Path of Titans, it still needs to feel, it doesn't have to look super realistic. Like Path of Titans has its own kind of feeling in its game, and it still will be good, but it's about like that movement of like, and if you haven't seen any Paleo Office, gameplay, go check it out. I think I might make an upload or something, but you know, just go watch that, and then that would be a good like place to start. Or the sorry, Path of Titans, the Beast of Bermuda Paleo Office. Go look at some of that gameplay if you haven't seen it already, and you know, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. But have that person, whoever made that, like that needs to be like the baseline rig. Like that needs to be the rig where if you're making a snake, it needs to move and feel like that. You know, like Paleo Office could go in the water. Paleo Office can go, it can go in trees. You can actually spec into it. You know, there's like different, I guess, subspecies within the game that you can kind of like, you know, you can kind of make your animal be tuned for a certain sort of playstyle, you know, make it be that, and then you can be like, okay, yeah, actually I want my Paleo Office to be arboreal. So my first Paleo Office, even though it's an aquatic snake in real life, is actually my own was arboreal because I wanted to be a land snake. I wanted to be in trees on land. And I think the climbing in that game, how it moves, like how it gets up on stuff, how it gets up, it's a bit silly and bob, but I feel like I'd rather be more lenient than less lenient, you know? Like climbing up a tree, they have like a wrap system. You need to wrap yourself around something. If you go up on a rock, go up on a hill, you know, you're not going to just slide off a hill. Like if it's a straight dead off cliff, like sure, you'll fall and die, but snakes have a lot of like, again, they're low to the ground, right? They're literally on the ground. They can put all their mass into like each of the nooks and hooks of a wall and a cliff, and I do think like, yes, like overall it should be pretty versatile. Land, I don't think there should be like a subspecies thing like in this game. Maybe in the Path of Titans they can add it so it has like 20% movement speed or something. Like their stats are usually something like that. If you take like more armor or more bleed damage or whatever your animal has and has to offer. And yeah, I do think like Paleo Office, it could be put into the other games as well. I would rather be Titanoboa, just because of the constrictor. I think there's no constrictor currently, and that's what makes it like, that's what for me makes it a bit rough. You know, I would say constrictor first, venomous gameplay maybe later, because venom does exist in the Isle, for example, and it's really fun. My favorite animal is actually Troodon. I love pack hunting, and I love being able to take down crazy big prey. It's like I'm like a what's it called, big game hunter or whatever. I think hunting big game, you know, is like the peak. It is something that like people want to see, you know, like people want to, like, you don't care about killing juvies in a sanctuary. You want to feel the hunt of like killing a stego or even a T-Rex. That's like the apex predator, you know, like the apex, and you're just like, yeah, I am the apex now, you know. But there's no, but the snakes, they're not pack hunters, so it's like the gameplay should be more ambushy, constrict, just wrap this person up, get the kill, consume them, move on. Feels good. Feels what's the word I'm looking for? It feels complete. Like it's not a really weird concept, like the gameplay of the snake. I feel like it's just to actually get the physics. I wish there was a developer or someone who can like model creatures or animate or whatever. Just make a great snake model, sell it to some developer, and then like the Isle developer, whatever, they can add their own like skin and textures to it, I guess, or whatever. How realistic they want it to be, but then just that skeleton, just that rig of like how it moves, how it interacts with the environment. It's just so, yeah, it would just be so amazing. And I think with climbing, like currently there is one more animal on the Path of Titans like official roster that would be coming to the game. If it's Titanoboa, which we don't know what it is because they just added like climbing to the game. With the Megalania TLC or whatever. But if it's Titanoboa, like, I would be dropping the Isle to play more Path of Titans. Like, I just want to play a snake. I don't care which game it is. I think all of them would make like all the game developers would make their own version, you know, of a snake really well. I think, right? I think they would be amazing, but like Path of Titans feels very weird because of how like the foliage is. Just like with Beast of Bermuda, there's no real foliage, but in the Isle, like I can't tell what's like 100 meters from in front of me, you know? Like I don't know, there could be a Rex here in front of me and I wouldn't know. Maybe he's seeing me right now, you know? And that's that feeling. That feeling, the other games just don't offer that. But yeah. I would say overall it would be a great animal to have. It would be fun to play and have around. For sure. You know, it's going to be something that's like this varies. Noises are great. It'd be a great animal to just have in addition. I don't think it will happen, obviously. I'm not saying it's, you know, it's one of those things that's gonna happen. I'm just saying there's vision for it. There's probably some things I'm like not thinking of right now, but that's why I would like to hear your guys' opinions on it and what you guys think how it should be added, etc., etc. Now, I'll talk to you guys later. If you want to drop by my stream, link is in the description right here. If you want to go and check it out, it should be in the the description of this video. Leave a like if you like this video. Don't forget to like. You could sub as well if you'd like. I do cover, and I plan to cover more Isle, and I cover a wide variety of games, but just, you know, just pop over and be like, hey, what's up? You know, come over on Twitch. Just, I don't even care about the follow. Just come over and say what's up, you know. I'm all for that. But yeah, I'm gonna grow my Barry. Soon fully grown. Currently Gen 2, but I got nested in, so this is like technically my first time playing Barry. And yeah, I would catch you guys later. Thank you for watching. Peace. I love you.